Hey, what's going on? This is Malcolm Travers. I'm back to you with another M3 gaming video. I am, of course, playing Destiny 2. However, I do have news that I'm going to be getting into some Baldur's Gate 3 soon. I started just with tutorials and introductions and all of the videos. I might play some of those actually while I play here, talking about which class to pick. Like when I opened the game and started playing, I was absolutely lost. 100% lost. So I figured maybe that could be fun to document on my stream. Going through the wilderness that is Baldur's Gate. I mean, like the build crafting is basically the same as Dungeons and Dragons, which I have played a little bit of. I played a little bit of Baldur's Gate as well, so I'm familiar with it, but it's not something that I have done recently. In terms of space there, so like it's like starting over. Absolutely, it's not like starting over. It is starting over. Absolutely. So, um, that being said, let me get into what I'm doing right now. I have is lightning crystals in the Vanguard Strike playlist. It's one of my favorite modifiers, and what it does is it boosts all your ability. So, the game is a shooter, but with lightning crystals on, when you pick either arc or stasis, you're going to have an increased amount of ability regen. The cost being you're going to also take in a lot of damage. So when you make a build for lightning crystals, if you would, because to be honest, this is not something Destiny players typically do. People do not make builds for the Vanguard Ops playlist. They just play that shit so they can get to the real game, which is dungeons and raids. But I am making my own game basically out of Destiny 2. My game is to make some fun builds and try not to die. So that's another part that makes lightning crystals fun for my playstyle is it is a lot easier to die. Um, very easy. Like any sort of arc, powerful attack will just take you out one shot. You won't see it coming. So you kind of have to play a little safe. All right. So it's asking for Void, Machine Gun, Scout, and Bow. All right. I think I can just start over. If there's anything here I want to keep, I don't think so. That I could. That I can. Yeah, definitely the Scout arc. That. Yeah. Um. Hmm. I just purchased this, didn't I? This could be good. I like auto loading on a machine gun, and Rampage is not bad at all. Steady rounds or alloy mag. Alloy is absolutely dog shit. But yeah, I mean on auto loading, and then steady rounds is kind of bad too because of the reduction in range. However, it does have hammer forged to give me back some of that, but the stability masterwork. Uh, both of these are good. At least there's that. But anyway, it's a void machine gun with auto loading. I don't have any others like that, so I might be rocking that right now. And I need some void kills, so Yeah, I'm going to put that back. Okay. So the next thing I need, let's see.
So who won?
Pop the tablet. Hey, all right. See what I got here. That's not bad. Do need bows. See there. And yeah, let me check out this exotic armor piece. I think I got everything I need. I'm gonna do bow, scout rifle. On that I didn't think of. Symmetry. Is that any good? It's an exotic scout rifle. Like all these exotics I don't have. Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed. But we're in okay, symmetry. It's a energy. So, okay. I might make a symmetry here and see if it plays any good. All right. Let me go ahead and start getting my build together. I should have done this before I got on stream, but
lost too much when the Red Legion hit us.
Let me see this right here. Lucky Raspberry. What does it do?
Magnification and display position. Cross button. Confirm zoom adjustment. PS button and square button. Switch magnification. Adjusting magnification and display position. Cross button. Confirm zoom adjustment. PS button and square button. Switch magnification. Right stick. Adjust display area. Can automatically adjust the zoom display area on this screen.
She always knows.
Press the PS button and the square button to start zoom adjustment.
Forgot what I was doing. Earth's a good place. Worth fighting for.
Adjusting magnification and display position.
Okay. That's not horrible. They they added Jolt to the grenade, so you don't have to use it on your subclass. I'd take it. Oh, okay. No, you still have to put it on there. It says damaging them with jolt gives you more. Okay. But it'll also stun without having to put jolt on. Okay, so let me go look at my subclass here.
We all
Obviously,
appreciate it.
I've got to use arc bolt grenades.
Just gonna take a moment.
And I think I do gambler's dodge because
Weren't you just here,
I'm going to
Guardian?
be getting extra ability energy. I might as well be punching stuff. So yeah, keep him jolting. Jolting gives you ionic traces.
My kid wants to be a warlock.
Okay. I think that's the one I'll get, the damage resistance. Yeah. Okay. So
talk.
now let's check out these mods.
Just a second, Guardian.
Absolutely have to do
I can help.
Ash's assets. That's just a given. Now mobility is at 100. I really don't need it to be at 100. So I'm gonna go put on some discipline. All right. Heavy ammo finder sounds good, and I think the harmonic siphon. All right, that's good. All right, next one.
It helps.
Do
Trust
the same thing. Go to discipline, and fastball is really good. I think what's this? Firepower is a must.
Did you? No. You've been there a while. Yeah.
Double firepower is not a must.
Earth's a good place. Worth fighting for.
I could go grenade kickstart. That seems ridiculous. So I'm just gonna go with that. All right.
I won't forget everyone we lost. I won't.
All right.
All runs together, doesn't it? Maybe just me. I can help you.
Um,
Lost too much when the Red Legion hit us.
Do we have everything we need?
I think I'll go minor discipline distribution.
Don't stop fighting. We all appreciate it.
And take one of these disciplines and go with mobility. Let's switch this to heavy-handed.
Every little bit helps. Trust me.
All right. So now let's go to our appearance because I look like I came out of a garbage can. I love the fact that they added transmog. I guess I've been playing this game for so long that this was how you would have to look
Together, doesn't it?
in the first 3 years of playing this game. But now, if you've collected the armor, you can turn it into a ornament, which is just, you can directly influence the look of your build. So I'm just gonna go with this. I forget what you call this. This is the solstice look, right? Now the ornament, there is no ornament for
Mess with us.
the lucky raspberry, so you have to choose that. That's a thing for exotics that they make a little bit of cash off of because you can't influence the look of it without paying. If you want to use an exotic. So typically, a lot of looks are surrounded
Let's
by
talk.
their exotic. Like sometimes people will even choose looks they don't, or make builds they don't like because it meshes. Like this is hard to build around, right? That chest piece is always going to look like it's fucked up. But this was okay. Now you can also save that for future use, the shader. So that's good enough. I think it's a good exotic functionally. So
No substitute for a full magazine.
let's go into the strikes and see what happens.
This video was made possible by Brilliant, a math and science problem-solving website that makes learning fun and rewarding. Almost everyone thinks they are a good thinker, but in reality, few people really are. A truly great thinker is constantly growing and evolving. So take a look around you. How many people do you see moving forward in life? How many people do you see solving problem after problem? And on the contrary, how many people do you see running in circles? How many people do you see still trying to solve the same problem they were working on years ago? The better you get at thinking, the better you get at solving problems. And good thinking begins with clarity. A clear thought is unambiguous, captures the essence of a thing, and is formulated logically. A clear thought can be communicated through a simple if-then statement. For example, if you turn on the tap, then you can get water. A clear thought leads to clear and intentional action. For example, the statement, if you turn on the tap, then you can get water, leads to clear action when you're thirsty. And clear and intentional action leads to clear feedback. When you go to test the tap for water, you will immediately find out whether your original thought was true or not. Either water will come out or it won't. And because clear feedback proves or disproves your thought, it helps improve your understanding of the world. Either you'll find out that your understanding of the world is correct or incorrect, and finding out you are incorrect helps you move closer towards correctness. And the more correct your worldview is, the better you'll be at solving problems. Let's take a look at an example. Marcus Aurelius earned the titles of the last of the 5 good emperors of Rome and philosopher king by becoming a great leader. And he became a great leader by becoming a great thinker. And he became a great thinker by learning to think clearly. And he learned to think clearly by writing a private philosophy for himself, which we now refer to as his meditations. In his meditations, Aurelius organizes his thoughts in a logical way. reflecting on the relationship between his actions and their effects. And if you want to think clearly and improve your ability to solve your own problems, it would be wise of you to do the same. Organize your thoughts, reduce their ambiguity, and make them clear by turning them into simple if-then statements. Clear logic leads to clear thoughts. Clear thoughts lead to clear and intentional action. Clear and intentional action leads to clear feedback. Clear feedback leads to an improved understanding of the world. And a clearer understanding of the world leads to a better ability to solve problems. For example, let me formulate a clear, logical thought. If I publish a how-to video with a philosopher in the title, then it will get over 100,000 views. That's a clear thought with clear logic. That clear thought leads to clear action. I will write that video and publish it. Now, when this video is published, I'll get clear feedback. We'll both find out if that thought is true. And once I find out whether that thought is true or false, my understanding of the world will improve. And by improving my understanding of the world, I'll be better equipped to solve my problem of being a successful YouTuber. So in conclusion, good thinking begins with clear thinking, and clear thinking begins by turning your thoughts into unambiguous, logical statements. And if you're looking for a practical way to improve your logical thinking skills, I recommend checking out this week's sponsor, Brilliant. Through their logic course, Brilliant actually helped me become a better thinker. And by becoming a better thinker, they helped me become a better writer. Truth-telling is the basis of good writing. And to be able to distinguish true statements from false ones, you have to be good at logic. And that's where Brilliant comes in. In their logic course, you'll learn to solve problems by taking factual statements and using logic to make them coherent. And you'll get to do it through Brilliant's signature fun and interactive style. I can't really stress how important it is to be a great logical thinker in these uncertain times. By learning how to separate fact from fiction, you'll instantly become more competent at anything you do. But if logic isn't your thing, Brilliant has thousands of other courses with new, exclusive content added each month for different areas of study, such as math, science, or computer science. To get started for free, visit brilliant.org/freedominthought or click the link in the description below. The first 200 of you will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Marcus Aurelius says, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor who lived from 121 to 180 AD, and despite being an emperor, Aurelius's contributions to philosophy, particularly Stoicism, have earned him recognition throughout history. Stoicism is an ancient Greek philosophy that emphasizes personal ethics and self-improvement. In his famous work, Meditations, Aurelius shares his personal reflections on various aspects of life, offering insights into his daily routine and practices. Aurelius believed that every day is an opportunity to live life to the fullest. He recognized the brevity of life and encouraged people to make the most of every moment. His daily routine, as outlined in his personal writings, offers valuable insights into achieving personal growth, inner peace, and fulfillment. These writings have become a source of inspiration for many seeking to improve their lives and make every day their best day. Which is why in this video, we will discuss 6 ways to make each day the best day of our life by following the routine of Marcus Aurelius. By implementing his practices, we can strive towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Number 1. Make the most of your mornings. Marcus Aurelius says, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm? In his meditations, Aurelius acknowledges his struggle with getting out of bed in the morning, but he engages in an internal dialogue where he reminds himself that all of nature is constantly at work, from the plants to the birds to the bees, fulfilling their innate purpose to contribute to the world's evolution. As human beings, it's our duty to do the same, regardless of our social status. Aurelius believed that starting each day with a structured routine could help one achieve focus, productivity, and emotional stability, and failing to fulfill this obligation goes against the natural order of things. His morning routine consisted of 4 steps, which are still applicable in our modern world. 1. Appreciating your life. The first step in Aurelius's morning routine was to appreciate the blessings in his life. He believed that taking a few moments to reflect on what he was grateful for would help him maintain a positive outlook on life. Aurelius recognized that life is fleeting, and we should cherish every moment we have. In our modern world, we can practice gratitude by taking a few minutes each morning to reflect on the things we're thankful for. This could be as simple as appreciating a good night's sleep or the ability to spend time with loved ones. By focusing on the positive aspects of our lives, we can start the day on a positive note and set the tone for a productive day ahead. 2. Negative visualization. Negative visualization involves imagining worst-case scenarios and mentally preparing oneself for them. Aurelius believed that by preparing for the worst, he could better appreciate the good in his life and avoid being overwhelmed by negative emotions in difficult situations. In our modern-day world, negative visualization can help us prepare for challenges and adversity. By mentally preparing for worst-case scenarios, we can better cope with unexpected events and reduce anxiety and stress. This technique can also help us appreciate the good in our lives and avoid taking things for granted. 3. Voluntary hardship. Voluntary hardship involves deliberately exposing oneself to discomfort and challenges to build resilience and self-discipline. Aurelius believed that by embracing difficulty, he could become stronger and better prepared to face adversity. We can practice voluntary hardship by taking on challenges that push us outside of our comfort zones. This could be as simple as taking cold showers or waking up early to exercise. By embracing discomfort and challenges, we can build resilience and self-discipline, which can help us succeed in all areas of our lives. 4. Start your most important task of the day. The fourth and final step in Aurelius's morning routine was to start his most important task of the day. Aurelius recognized that the early morning hours were the most productive and focused time of the day. He believed that by tackling the most important task of the day first, he could ensure that it was completed
I should have thrown my super when
effectively.
I was getting
Starting
stomped.
our most important task of the day first can help us stay focused and productive. By prioritizing our most important task and completing it early in the day, we can free up mental energy and avoid procrastination. This can help us accomplish more and feel more accomplished.
Yeah, I don't want to hear none of that shit right now. This guy stopped. I'm so sad. Oh, God. Oh, Destiny stops. All the updates you made in the game, but the physics is still not going to change that. Yeah. It's still fun, though. I enjoyed that. It was actually a pretty good build. Trying that out. I don't know when the last time I used this weapon. I just thought about the other day that I just don't like reloading machine guns. So, and I didn't have a void machine gun with auto loading. So I have one from, I think this was that Sundial. No, this was a Vex network. season. I can't remember. But it doesn't even have an origin perk like all the new weapons have. A perk in this slot, a third perk slot. In this case, this only has one quiet moment, but typically it will also have like a perk from the foundry of that weapon. So I don't even know what model this is. I want to say Suros, but I don't know. Like the Skatelock doesn't have one, but he might have one now because I think they added field tested. So this is also an old one. That's a really good weapon though. Skatelock, even when it had static rolls, was pretty good. All right. I'm going to check out this podcast while I play.
Givers, and that seems to be canceling each other out, or rather canceling me out because I'm not used to that. I think we're both a little bit too similar in the bedroom, and I don't really know how to voice that I need a little more edge. I don't know how else to say that, but yeah, too much. We're both kind of the same, and that's working out really well, but I kind of see a little bit of a problem down the road on that. Anyways, what would you suggest for someone who needs a little more edge from their new partner?
There was a study that came out, must have been 20 years ago, and I would look it up for you right now, but right now I'm recording my podcast, and I can't expect to record and research at the same time, but it is out there. And it found something that at the time seemed a little counterintuitive. It found that selfish people were generally better lovers, that something that people wanted from a lover was this sense of them taking their pleasure from you, them taking their pleasure on you, them taking from you, not just giving, not just being solicitous, although that is wonderful, but not just being solicitous of you and your pleasure, not just centering your pleasure and asking how they may be of service, but also wanting from you, taking from you, using you as an instrument of their own pleasure. So it's good to be in bed with someone who's not exclusively a giver, but also a taker. I don't think anybody who authored that study was endorsing 100% selfish all the time, thinking of only their own needs during sex kinds of lovers. We've all been with people like that. They're terrible lovers. But someone who has more than one gear, somebody who can shift into drive and also shift into reverse, and great when necessary. And so what you and your current lover are sort of facing right now is this realization that maybe all the people you've been with in the past were more taker than giver, and you were both givers, and a lot of your identity as erotic people, sexual people, as lovers was wrapped up in meeting a taker's needs, being taken by somebody, giving them that. And what you've got to understand, the kind of flip you've got to make in your head is that taking can also be a kind of giving, that taking your pleasure, centering your own pleasure in a consensual way with somebody who wants your pleasure to be centered, who's interested in meeting your needs, being selfish now and then is also in a double reverse backflip, photo negative kind of way, how you can give. If you can hold those two contradictory thoughts in your head at the same time while you're fucking each other, and there's some give and take and flow between who's giving and who's taking, but also recognizing that at those moments that you're taking, you're also, so long as the pleasure you're taking on and with your partner are pleasures that they enjoy, things that they want to do with you and for you, you are giving to them at the same time. If you can hold those two seemingly contradictory thoughts in your head at the same time, you might be able to make this work. Addressing one other thing you brought up was how do you get your lover to have more edge? It would be helpful if you could articulate what exactly that means. And you don't articulate that to me in your question. I'm wondering if you're not able also to articulate that to your lover. Just asking someone, I need you to feel edgy, but what does that mean? What does edgy mean for you? You need them to be more dominant. You need them to be more controlling. You want to be held down. You need to feel that they're sometimes overwhelmed by their desire and lust for you and have to take you right there in the car, in the kitchen, in your bathroom, at a friend's house during a party. What does that mean? You can't be vague. You can't just say to someone, I need you to be edgier, and then expect them to guess. And when you put someone in a position where they feel like they have to guess what it is that you want, you are setting yourself up for a potentially traumatizing experience and them up for a potentially traumatizing experience because they're highly likely to guess wrong.
Hi, Dan. I wonder if you could weigh in on a phenomenon that I have been experiencing. I've been jacking off since I was about 15. When I first started doing it, I had not yet begun producing sperm. I found that my orgasms during those times sent tingles throughout my whole body. Once I started ejaculating sperm, the feelings were still good, of course, but not the same intensity as the pre-ejaculate orgasm. I'm now 76 years old, and my sperm factory has gone out of business. Barely a drop with that. I'm noticing now that the sensation that I have during orgasm harkens back to the early days before I had sperm. Not quite as intense as those teenage days, but similar. I'm just wondering, are you familiar with any language or medical description for the sensations in an orgasm that produces no ejaculate?
Men, as they age, and you are age 70, tend to produce less semen, less mobile sperm cells, and less ejaculate over time. It's as if the little glands and pumps and jizz factory down there in our junk and our crotches, that shuts down. But the pump system still works. That's why you're still able to get aroused. That's why you're still able to experience the pleasures of orgasm, even if when you go into orgasmic contractions, there's nothing for those contractions to send flying out the head of your dick anymore, except that small drop. I haven't heard of people, of men people, having orgasms that were more all body and intense after their semen, sperm, ejaculate factory shut down, but they were still capable of climaxing. Doesn't mean it's not a thing, but I don't think it's a common enough thing that anyone out there would have studied it. If I am wrong, and someone out there listening has studied it or knows of studies about this phenomena, please send it our way. Let us know. I would encourage you, caller, while we wait for the studies that probably aren't going to come in, because again, I really don't think this has been studied, rather than to regard this as a mystery or a problem, to regard it as a blessing, some compensation from the universe for you as your orgasms changed, maybe because you are less focused on the ejaculatory moment. So many men, our dicks almost train us. We get into this feedback loop with our dicks where it is about that moment of ejaculation. And maybe now that you're not pushing toward that moment of ejaculation and that sort of visual affirmation that ejaculation provides us, maybe you're taking longer. Maybe you're engaged in a kind of deeper exploration of self-pleasure now, in the same way that you were more deeply self-pleasuring yourself before you were capable of ejaculating when you were a teenager. And you're just activating more nerve endings. You're sending more signals up to different parts of your brain that hadn't been activated for the last 50, 60 years, and the orgasms are better and more intense. That's my theory. I just pulled that out of my ass. I think it's a pretty good one. And until we hear from somebody who's actually done the studies, who may know, that's the best you're going to get out of them.
Hey Dan, long time listener. Thanks for the many years of great advice. I'm in an online in-bedroom only dom sub relationship. I'm a masochist sub. He is a sadist master. He's sexy as hell dynamic, and most of our play revolves around consensual non-consent, pain and humiliation. Kinks that are very close to my heart. Being that our relationship is solely online, we both also really interested in the psychology of submission, how to get there, ways to get there. I wanted to explore mindfuck and its destabilizing effect during play. We spent a lot of time discussing, setting and exploring limits. I knew there would be violent storytelling involved. We started play and he went on a mindfuck tangent. However, it was so violent, so extreme. I called time and he stopped immediately, went straight into a long session of aftercare. He's been checking on me regularly, doing all the right things. In discussions afterward, I asked if he actually got off on that level of violence, and apparently he does. So with mindfuck literally accomplished, my question is violent and I'm snuff style violent fantasy a common thing, or am I actually hanging out with a bad person?
Is snuff style violence? Snuff, of course, is usually that word is used in reference to a genre of extremely violent pornography that looms large in the cultural imagination. I don't think there's much actual snuff porn out there, but snuff porn is pornography where someone is murdered. Now, when you think about it, a lot of our mass entertainment involves violence, murder, mayhem. Dexter, Jeffrey Dahmer documentaries, dumb superhero movies where half of humanity is wiped off the face of the earth one day. So much of our fear of violence gets processed through cultural entertainments that represent it, that show us our fears, so that we, through the process of catharsis, can purge our fears. And everyone's fine with that. Okay, so another way that we process our fears, our cultural traumas, is through our erotic imagination. There are some people out there who are turned on by the idea of being murdered. As with all kinks, there are more subs than doms. There are more people out there who fantasize about someone in the moment having the power of life and death over them. Most people who fantasize about that moment aren't fantasizing about dying. They just want the person who has power over them at that moment to have that power, so they can sit with, in that eroticized context, that fear, and through the process of catharsis, purge it. There are some people who fantasize about and are turned on by the thought of murdering people. This guy seems to be one of those guys. Not everyone who has violent, homicidal sexual fantasies acts on. People can have whatever fantasies, I don't want to say they choose to have, because a lot of people's sexual interests, where their erotic imaginations go, not a fully conscious process, not something we choose. A lot of people who have these kinds of fantasies are still moral actors and can distinguish between what arouses them to contemplate or to think about and what is ethically and morally impossible and not something they would ever do in reality. The way this person treats you, the aftercare, the consideration that he demonstrated, also his honesty when you put the question to him, I think that all argues against he's looking for someone to murder or he has murdered someone, but there are definitely people out there in the papers every day, Netflix murder documentaries clogging up my feed, who have acted on these desires and impulses. Is he one of those people who might? Who would? I couldn't tell you for sure that he's not. You're safe. This is a purely online relationship. These are text exchanges. You're just cranking each other up and going to a very dark place. A lot of people would regard consensual non-consent, rape and ravishment, play, pain, humiliation, masochist and sadist playing as already being in a dark place. Now, it's fine for you to have dark sexual fantasies and say to somebody, there are other sexual fantasies that for me are too extreme. If it's not enough for him just to not go there anymore, if you don't feel comfortable playing with him online, interacting with him, because that is a place he would also, with the right partner, through fantasy play, enjoy going, well, then you have to play with him. You're not in any immediate or imminent danger. He's a person on your computer. Not everybody in the edge play mindfuck wants to go to this kind of level of violence or fantasies about violence, but it opens the door to these kinds of fantasies being shared, being discussed, which is different than them being acted on. So what do? Well, you don't play with this guy anymore if you're uncomfortable playing with him now, knowing what you know. If you want to keep playing with this guy but want to feel comfortable playing with this guy, it might help if you had a conversation about these interests of his and the extent of them. And during those conversations, you'll be able to get a sense of his moral core. A lot of people have really fucked up fantasies that they know are not things that they could do, but additionally know that they are things they would ever do. But to think about them, to turn them over in their heads, fantasize, anything is permissible in fantasy. And a lot of murder and mayhem is obviously permissible to us as entertainment. And what is BDSM? This kind of kinky, dirty talk about two people creating a play and a drama with and for each other. It's theater for two. It's an entertainment you're creating for each other, with each other, to arouse each other. Can that entertainment ever involve a fantasy about death? Obviously it can, if both people are comfortable fantasizing about that. And it obviously can if it's an entertainment being created for millions of people to turn out at the theater to enjoy. It seems to me that a fantasy that goes to a place, an entertainment that goes to a place as dark as Murder and Mayhem, if that's all right for mass entertainment, if I can fire up my streamers and watch that kind of content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, then it has to be okay for two people to create that entertainment, that fantasy, that story for each other.
Oh, hey, Dan, I have a question about ASMR, which came to mind again after that guy with the sexy voice came on a couple of episodes ago. I first heard of that, I think, right before COVID on your show. And to me, it was really related to a fetish and sex and sexuality and sensuousness. And then I heard my good friends and my kids talk about it. And I was like, whoa, no, don't say that. And now it's just more popular. And now the kids, 11, 12 years old are going, oh, that's so satisfying when there's some sound or phrase or feeling or something. And I just get weirded out because I think it's an adult thing. Am I looking at this wrong? Has this sort of always been or morphed into just an everyday thing for everybody that just now because these kids, it seems like, oh, that's pretty beyond, but they're just saying satisfying. I just told my kids, I don't want to hear you say satisfying.
Checking in on the old wiki, ASMR, Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, a tingling sensation that usually begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and the upper spine, a pleasant form of paresthesia. It has been compared with auditory tactile synesthesia. Not necessarily kinky, not necessarily sexual. Some people are turned on by ASMR videos. There's something about the way that sounds, those sensations, those tingles that are sexually arousing for them. ASMR videos, though, aren't just for and aren't just created by people who have that particular kink. I think that your kids are basically enjoying ASMR for the weird tickly feeling. And you need to stop bringing to it your knowledge of this minority of people who enjoy ASMR videos or sound files, creating them or listening to them or both, that minority for whom it is a kink and for whom it is sexual. And just let your kids enjoy the autonomous sensory meridian response, which is all they're getting out of it. When I was a kid, we used to do this thing where, you would, as lightly as possible, try to run your fingers down the back of somebody's head and neck and top of their spine to induce a sort of all body shiver. It wasn't kinky. It wasn't sexual. It was just kids being kids and kids being weirdos and kids exploring what their nerve endings could do for them and what you could do with other people's nerve endings. And it wasn't necessarily sexual. It was just human animal. That's all your kids are doing. So calm the fuck down, Dad. ASMR, yeah, some people are pervy. Most people are just in it for the tingle. Your kids are in it for the tingle. Maybe one of your kids will grow up to be an ASMR perv. Can't be ruled out. If you'd like that to be less likely, if you'd rather that not happen, you freaking out at your kids about how dirty this ASMR shit is and acting weird about it when they talk about enjoying it, that ups the odds that your kids are going to realize it's naughty and shameful. And there's nothing like realizing something is naughty and shameful and not quite understanding why for turning something random and pleasurable and non-sexual into a lifelong kink.
Hi, Dan. I am a 37-year-old straight woman who's married with 2 children living on the East Coast. I currently live with my partner, who is generally very hardworking and kind and loving, but the respect level is diminishing. There's the stress of toddlers. There's some cycles of previous trauma that need to be broken. And so my question to you is, have you heard of radical compassion? And to what extent does our compassion, can it lead to compassion fatigue in a marriage? How can we move through a marriage being kind and calling a partner in versus calling a partner out when you end up in cycles that are just disrespectful? I'm at a point where my partner is really, truly disrespectful. He doesn't want to see a therapist by himself. We started seeing a couple therapists, which was working towards some good stuff. But I'm trying my best to be loving, passionate, and kind, despite the cycles of I'm constantly offending him. And then we get in an argument, and I find myself trying to apologize when he's the one who should be apologizing. So cycles, I'm thinking about trust and radical compassion, continuing to show up with kindness even when your partner is being a big fucking dick.
I don't actually know much about radical compassion. There are a couple of books out there about radical compassion. My specialty is more tactical compassion or transactional compassion. A marriage, particularly one where there are children, is kind of a stressful fucking relay race. And kindness, leaning into kindness, both partners leaning into kindness is a kind of lubricant that helps keep, it's a relay race now, I'm shifting to a mechanical metaphor. It's a lubricant, it's a grease that helps keep the gears from grinding off and the machine from grinding to a halt. You need to be nice to each other as you focus together as a couple on this larger goal, which is to get your two small children to adulthood in one piece. Raising children together is stressful. Kids are a wedge you drive into your relationship, and you need to be able to look at each other and say, I love you and I'm being nice to you and considerate, and I'm showing you at this moment that I can, for you, scrape up some of that stuff that I'm constantly scraping up for the kids, which is that effort, that energy. You see it too often in the lives of friends where they are nice and loving to their children, but then they are spent and they turn to their spouse or their partner and they're rude and short and impatient. And you have to be able to find some of that parenting stuff, that kindness, that effusiveness that you pour all over your children and pour a little bit onto your spouse for the good of the relationship, for the good of the family. And it is, I think, tactical, strategic, and transactional. I am being nice to you. Your turn. Be nice to me. I'm being kind. I need you to be kind. You should be able to say that. My kindness to you in some way is conditional upon your being kind to me. But you can make that clear rather than trying to, squeeze the kindness out of someone by being so radically compassionate that you're crushing them with kindness, killing them with kindness in the hopes that you'll get a little bit of that kindness stuff out of them before they expire. And I think it's better to just be direct and say, look, two small kids, it's stressful. We are taking each other for granted. You are taking me for granted. We have to be good and kind to each other. We have to make an effort. So here's how I am making an effort. I'm making an effort right now, not to kill you. Let's talk about how you can make an effort, what I need to see. So I feel like we are a team, and we're a team that will...
It's an interesting one. I might actually clip that. I don't know. This will be my last strike. Figure I'm going to take a little time to discuss what I got coming up. I actually don't have that many topics ready for the live stream for Wednesday. I usually would like to have more by now.
Of Zod's base, but I miscalculated the strength of this operation.
You miscalculated?
Yes. Do you have further questions?
Right. Let's get them free.
This isn't that bad. Jeez. God, what? Why is everyone else in this strike? It's so different playing this on your own.
Seems this new Zahn has done some invigorating. No, I don't think I can call this an upgrade.
I should have killed this tank like so long ago. I feel I used to rag on everyone who would not kill that Thrasher, but instead I sat there the whole time dodging its stuff. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I informed the Empress we had already dealt with Zahn, or at least I thought we had. But he's returned somehow.
Names hold power. It is not unlikely this new Zahn is a successor who has taken up the mantle.
Regardless, he must be stopped.
This is so weird not having anyone else on there, especially on like one of the more enemy dense strikes. Like they made this one so much more difficult. I feel like 2 seasons ago, about a year ago. I don't know. See, like this. These are way too many enemies for me to just run over here. But I did it. Fuck it. He's not super. Oh, there we go. Now I have allies. Get rid of this fucking flesh. This shit. Yeah, I like this scout for applying that debuff. I don't think it's that good though. I don't know what the numbers on that is on the debuff, but I think it's a good choice. I've even tried the alternate firing method, which
Thank you, Guardian.
I do have
Constructed
20
the
stacks
science
of.
to aid you. Free the others, and you will have a formidable team to face Brockus Zahn.
We'll take all the help we can get.
Wow. Okay. I see you, Symmetry. That was a pretty good arc staff throw. I had a pretty good time with that one. Yeah, Symmetry is not bad. I'm enjoying it. Okay, that was a bad throw. Oh, come on. I hate not having much recovery. That
Hydra
sucks.
have but one head, temperament. Yes.
But
Thanks, Hydra.
that was a fun
There's
ride.
an
I
old Earth
have got to
mythological
get breakfast
creature that-
started though.
Never mind.
You would do well.
Make sure
Hindsight
to
better
join
understand
me
our enemy.
tomorrow at 7. Be hosting live stream. I am thinking about having a conversation on settling. Actually, it's about like the idea that some people might have a longer list of must-haves than is necessary, and mainly this is due to this achievement idea taken into relationships. You know, like we're very ambitious as individuals, and so sometimes we want to take that same ambition into relationships, which can lead you to get, left behind. Just saying. But thank you so much for joining me on this live stream, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.